So we had the first meeting on the 22nd of August with the prison administration, and right away we detected a complete different scenario with them. And just the whole time while the protest was going on, if a prisoner left to go to court or left anywhere in the prison and refused a strip search, he was taken on to court. He wasn't searched, stripped. If he was going to a visit and was asked for a strip, he refused the strip. He was offered the box visit, which he didn't get, but there was no forced strip searching. There was nothing like that. So we had the situation then when the protest ended. I actually was out on compassionate, and I got out and get back. A couple of other prisoners got out and back to court, refused the strip after the agreement because the agreement had dealt with it and they accepted it. 23rd of September 2010, actually it was me who was going to court. I again refused the strip search, and they then came in, 6 of them in rat gear, came in, put you to the ground, ripped your clothes off, and that was the beginning of the forced strip searching policy, which to this day has an end. Up until now, Paul will probably know more about this. I think there's close to 100 forced strip searches taking place. So right away, that told us where they were going, and began a clawback policy of the whole agreement. The movement numbers never really made the 6, which was supposed to happen right away. Then came up to November. By that stage, we had probably 10 or 15 forced strip searches had taken place, and some to the extent where scissors were used to remove clothing. Again, Paul. What I mean by a forced strip search is that we don't resist. Come into you, you strip, no, I'm not doing it. Why are you not doing it? They give you what they call a 15-minute reflection time. So once you're 15 minutes up, 6 helmets, like RUC would be out here today with all their padding on. They come in with a red sheet, bang you to the ground, twist your arms up your back, and forcibly remove your clothes. I mean, it's just quite simple. And Paul will go into more detail because he's one of the few people that has witnessed a video of it. So it's not easy. People come out with injuries. Anybody can over, in particular, Collie Duffy had been out 3 or 4 times. Sherman McManus and Kevin Barry Nolan had been out over numerous days and got 2 of these every single day. They were going out, they were coming back. They were doing it. So, and they've never been out of a control of a prison officer. So, November the 17th, they introduced a new search facility they had purpose built, which had all this new magnificent technology in it, which we thought may have ended. It didn't. What they did actually is they introduced the mouse search again right away. So when you went in that, so again, prisoners resisted, and for a period of 6 weeks, nobody got a visit. And what I mean by a mouse search is that, if I'm talking to you, you could be quite happy there's nothing in your mouth. What a mouse search to them is open your mouth, stick your tongue out, lift it to the left, lift it to the right, wiggle it, hold on, I can't see, shine a torch, and all that sort of to degrade you basically, to prove who's in control. So we refused to do it again, and 2 days before Christmas, the facilitators who facilitated the original agreement came in, and they had basically got a deal done where they removed the need for that to be done. So within the prison, movement started again. The contentious area then became reception, which you have to go through every time you're going out to go to hospital or go to court or to be released on compassion, or if you're getting bail, you have to go through reception. So the as part of the agreement, David Ford put in place an assessment team to make sure that the agreement was being implemented by both the prisoners and the prison service. And in October 2010, they made 6 recommendations, which dealt with areas of contention around strip search. Given that the agreement already dealt with it, and their concerns that the realisation that the control movement hadn't been dealt with properly, that there was a reluctance from the prison staff to quote the term, to go back to a maze type scenario, which was they didn't want prisoners having freedom of movement. So we then entered Christmas, and of course the M6 recommendations could have dealt with it. Ford refused to implement them. And this is the same guy who was critical of all the reports that the prison service refused to implement over that time for the last 5 or 6 years. So we then get into the start of this year, and it gradually got worse. Stripping became more aggressive, people were injured, people ended up on heart machines, people had to get hospital treatment with broken ribs. It was just really, really that bad. So as a prisoner group, we done all we could. We tried legal challenges. We got the assessment team in. We asked the facilitators to come in to say that this can be dealt with. Don't take our word for it. There's 6 recommendations there could sort these areas of contention out. During that time, as I say, forced strip searching continued. At that stage, it was probably 60 or 70 had been done. So we then started progressing into the situation where December last year, phase 2 was to come in of control movement, which meant there should have been 12 to 15 prisoners out. We hadn't even got phase 1 done where the 6 prisoners could be out. So it was really going nowhere. The agreement was in their eyes, to even the protest because of the momentum it was gaining on the outside. Came April, which we give it to, we'd said we'd come to April, which was supposed to be phase 3, which was in the court payments again, unfettered access to every word for some of the Republican wings, was to be in place by April of 2011, given that we signed the agreement in August 2010. So that didn't come about, inevitably phase 2 didn't come about. So we took the decision then that we were left with no alternative but to resume protest action in the start of May. Now, protest action has been going on from May. Dirty protests, prisoners have been badly beaten for refusing to lock. The situation is, I was in the prison today, the situation now is where there's basically 23-hour lockdown. There's dirty protests going on. Some are putting their stuff on the landing, others are putting it on the walls. So there's a real, up until today actually, there were some prisoners who hadn't even had a visit from the end of June. There was one of the guys that had a visit today. And the strip search is taking place on a regular basis. The 4 strip searches, there's been up to nearly 100 of them now, I think. Paul probably be able to quote more. So, from a prisoner's perspective, even today, there's nothing on the horizon. There's no sense of anything taking place. Just to give you the context with the prison or for me, I was the way hospital appointment. I was supposed to be the hospital appointment over the last 2 years, and I refused to go because, as a condition of going to hospital, it would be stripped. So I refused to go. So what they done was they sent the rats on and they came in and trailed me out of the cell in May or June. They just forcibly stripped me, brought me to the hospital, refused to let me talk to a doctor in private, didn't have the appointment, and brought me back and forcibly stripped me again. So this is what they're doing across the board. So every single prisoner is going through the same thing on a different level. Derry McLaughlin, a guy from Tyrone, has been at the receiving end of some heavy stuff. Other prisoners, as I say, have been through. So don't want to keep this too long. Just needed to keep in mind that there's nothing on the horizon that the prisoners can have hope to could end this. In fact, David Ford has given fixed positions in the media saying that that's what it is. It's the interpretation of the August agreement that prisoners have is the exact same as the facilitators who facilitated. That it dealt with strip searching entirely within the prison, and it dealt with control movement. And the prison service are the ones who are reneging on the deal. So that's where we are. Just again, keeping people's minds, we have a group of, there's 32 prisoners there. We have an isolated prisoner who's on what they call the boards, the SSU, who are refusing to let on the landings. And we have the prisoners who are locked up 23 hours a day, some being denied legal access, some being denied phone access, some being denied even exercise. And Paul will probably go into that more. So that's where we are. Thank you.